Hello everyone, welcome to another video where me, your favorite Brazilian, will give you a little insight on the references, culture, memes, and some tea of Drag Race Brazil, episode 3, Tupini Queens. And we need to start this episode already by bringing up the episode title and the use of the word Tupini Queens as a reference to, Brazilian queens and just like Tupini King in general to represent Brazilians. Okay, so the public did not receive this episode title well or like the category name well because it's a play on words with Tupini King, which is a native Brazilian group that comes from, the Tupi nation. So like using this word, using as like just a synonym to Brazilian is not the best choice ever. It reads as just like extremely bad taste and is also like racist, basically. So yeah, choices were made. Because I think that, as the years have passed, I think that we made an effort to stop using that word as a synonym to Brazil and Brazilians, since like they are part of our natives, and choices. I really wish they have named the episode just the sketch title and the category just like Knights of 1,000 Brazilian models or whatever. So yeah, now that we touched on this topic, I can give you my overall review of the episode before we start to break it down. And I liked the episode. I definitely did like the editing a lot more. Still not 100% there. Like we do have some weird like segues into like different portions of the show. So they still need to like fix that a little bit. But like compared to episodes 1 and 2, episode 3 is a lot better. The queens walk in the workroom after Diva Moore's elimination and they read her message and it's really sweet. And after, they read the message and Betina cleans it, we have a little like discussion, a little like conflict between Melusine and Shannon and Organza, because Melusine didn't really like how they chose to support Bettina during the lip sync, because she thought that it was kind of like putting Diva down, and she was already nervous and this and that. And then Shannon and Organza defend themselves, and they're like, oh yeah, but we did not have that intention, we were just trying to like root for our friend, and if she did that in the lip sync, that's on her. I can see both sides, but I do have to like side a bit more with Melusine here, because like it was the first lip sync of Drag Race Brazil. Diva Moore was clearly extremely nervous. So like, even though you can argue that like, oh, hearing queens rooting more for the other one should lit a fire under your ass to like just win the lip sync, if you are not in the mental state to do that, it's just going to make you do worse. So I get that. I truly do. I can see both sides. I think that people are being way too overdramatic when like talking about that. Guys, that's just like the queens they are fine. They're fine. Melusine tweeted multiple times saying like, hey guys, we're fine. We resolved that. Like, I love them. Let's move on. But, again, Drag Race fans, Brazilian gays, they, like, again, Organza was so, like, correct when she said, onde tem gay, não tem paz. Where there's gay people, there's no peace. Because, like, y'all cannot watch a reality show, like, and without being, like, massive bitches. Like, it's been 15 years. It's been 15 years. Come on, guys. Come on. The next day, the queens enter the workroom and they realize that there's just a runway on the workroom. For what? They don't know. But they definitely do walk on it. Like, oh my god, yes. Which is exactly what I would do. I'll be like, oh my god, a runway? Don't mind if I do. Like, the queens are talking about, the previous challenge. Shonong's mentions that, she could have won the challenge. Organza flaunts her badge. Everyone is just like, ooh, work. Shonong is like, oh, sorry, Organza, but I think that I could have won the challenge. And I agree. If you watched my episode 2 video, I do think that Shonong was my personal winner. However, before they can keep the banter, we have the iconic Segura-se Diridom Bonecas, which already, like, ended RuPaul. I'm sorry. Ru, don't, please. Grag appears on the television and she basically just, like, give hints for the whole episode. She, like, she mentions that for a Miss Drag Race Brazil, beauty isn't everything, and which is, a hint for the mini challenge. And then she's like, oh, but if you are, like, thrown to the lions, just improv, which is a hint for the maxi challenge. So I think that this was a really well crafted, like, message for the queens before everything starts happening. During Grag's message, she mentions the icon, the legend, and the moment, Leona Vingativa, when she says, apertada com uma bacia.
Eu sou apertada com uma bacia.
I don't think I have seen a Drag Race franchise mention that many, like, memes and, like, internal references that only we can understand. Like, I am loving every single second of it. Like, we're just proving ourselves as, like, meme royalty, as, like, pop culture royalty. And I love that for us. But yes, Leona Vingativa reference, love her. She is releasing a documentary soon. She's an icon, a legend, a moment. I love her so much. Leona Vingativa, beijos, gata. They should do a lip sync to that as a spoken word. I think that would be fierce. Fierce.
Conhecidíssima como a noite de Paris. Poderosíssima como a espada de samurai.
Anyways, Grag Queen comes in the workroom just looking gorgeous. She is serving so many looks. She was so hot. Respectfully, would. She looks so good. She's serving looks left, right, and center. I am loving Grag's, like, aesthetic as both, like, in drag and out of drag. She knows what she's doing. As Grag is talking to the girls, Naza references one of our, common reaction pics that, everyone just uses from Rafa Uckman, which of course she would. And Naza just seems like someone that is so, like, in touch with, like, meme culture in Brazil that, like, she would just... I'm really liking Naza. Naza is growing on me a lot. A lot. And I was not expecting that. I'm not gonna lie. After Grag does the thing that she does, talking to the queens and being like, oh my god, hello. We have our mini challenge. The queens have 5 minutes to get ready. They just go insane. It's the chaos. They start painting and start putting their things. Just like... And then again, third reference of the episode, and we are, like, barely... I don't know how many minutes we're in the episode, but, like, it's already 3 references where Grag just says Queima Kengarau. I love being Brazilian and watching this season. Love that. As chaos ensues and they get ready, Betina just says that, oh yeah, I thought that the pageant was going to be for Miss Beauty, but apparently it's going to be for Miss Sadness. And I died. Except for the mini challenge, I'm going to give you just like, you know, the highlights, because it was a long mini challenge. They really said, we need to fill the space of this episode. So let's give like a long mini challenge and a long maxi challenge. I only have like 5. I have 5 highlights. The first one is, of course, Miranda. Miranda is an actress through and through. Like, the character. You cannot tell me that this is not a real person. Like, her reaction when Grag says like, okay, you were dead. She's so good. She's so mother. Miranda Lebrão, eu te amo. Te vejo como uma figura materna. Se você foi eliminada antes da final, eu não sei o que eu vou fazer da minha vida. Já falo isso desde já. Next highlight is Dallas, she was the clear winner of the mini challenge. She was so smart picking the robot concept because no one else is going to do that. And like, when Grag clearly just like bought it, and she also started like doing the robot thing, like I knew she was going to win the mini challenge, because if the host is clearly buying what you're selling, you're good. You're good. Hubi made me cackle. I don't know if she is truly aware of how funny she is. Hopefully she can bring this like energy, this humor to Snatch Game. Because I'm not gonna lie, Snatch Game is like the thing that I am the most scared for her. Because like people that are like naturally funny, or that are not like aware of how funny they truly are, sometimes bomb Snatch Games, and I do not want that for her. Another plane? But yeah, Hubi makes me just die. Of course, Betina. I love Betina. Maybe I'm being a little bit biased, but like, she was also giving like acting. She was giving a character and just work. That's it. That's it. Betina. Betina again. Robbed. We're gonna get to it. And then we have Elena. She was so smart picking that character. I'm not gonna lie. Elena is slowly becoming like tied with like Betina as like my second favorite of the whole cast. Like, she is really doing it for me. I'm so proud of her. When Elena is doing her bit with Grag does mentions that like she looks like Gigi Moko in drag, which I had to like hold myself to not like scream laugh, because you know, like a cackling is fine, but a scream laugh at midnight, we are not doing that. I don't want to die. Gigi Moko, by the way, is a character played by comedian Renato Aragão. He was part of like this show called Os Trapalhões, and it was just a really like, it's a really well known like comedy like show to this day, because it did like leave a mark on a generation, and it kept being influential years and years after it stopped being a thing. Actually, it was not just 5 highlights, because Organza is so smart. Organza is so smart. When Miranda and Organza said that they are theater queens, they were not lying. They were not lying, and they're showing us that Organza and Miranda, they might be some of like the best like improv, at least. We have not seen an actual acting challenge of them yet on the show. But like improv, they might be one of the best improvers like in the franchise. So the name for the challenge, for like her character, the concept, just Organza. That's it. That's the tweet. Organza. Overall, I think that all the girls had a lot of fun doing the challenge, which I liked. I love seeing the queens having fun. But it was also very clear to me that, like, in true Drag Race fashion, they don't exactly tell you which, like, looks from the huge list that they get are for mini challenges and what are for maxi challenges. And some of the like looks that they had on were clearly for like the runway and not for mini challenge, which was sad because like just that's a lot of money to just use on a mini challenge. I mean, maybe Elena's look, she just like picked one of the looks that she wore for one of her pageants, and just brought it to the show because it's stunning. And maybe Chanel did the same too, because Chanel's look was like, it was giving me like, oh, you wore that and you won that pageant. So yeah, Dallas wins the mini challenge, which is good for her. And she also wins money, which the winner of this episode doesn't. So that was interesting. I was like, oh, are they just giving away like 10K for this episode? No, just the mini challenge winner gets 5K. Like the maxi challenge winner. Because Dallas won the mini challenge and it was also very improv-y. That's, I guess, just like the trend alert for me and Dallas is that I create expectations. And again, as I said in episode 2, we don't do that, but I still do because I cannot control myself. As like Dallas is going to get like, you know, the flowers and the sash, Aquarella just like snatches her wig, which like is a parallel to like a meme that we also have in Brazil from a drag pageant. And like it's even if it's not a parallel, even if it was not like something that she thought of and she just did, it was so funny. Like her the voices, the intrusive thoughts just said do it, and she did. That was so pageanty. Like, girl, I had a lot of fun watching this episode. Can you tell? After, you know, everyone congratulates Dallas for winning the mini challenge and all of that, Greg announces that the main challenge is going to be a improv comedy sketch called As Chuteiras do Trovão. Chuteiras is soccer shoe. And Dallas, as the mini challenge winner, can pick her role, which we're going to talk about this soon, literally like in the next minutes, but like the mini challenge curse strikes again. She also announces that Hugo Gloss is the guest judge, and at first I was like, that's a choice, because like I wouldn't think of Hugo Gloss as the guest judge for the improv challenge, because he is known for like being a personality, I guess. Like he has like the influencer celebrity gossip. He knows things. He's a blogger, I'm pretty sure. You know. But then when it comes to like the actual judging, I was like, damn, he came prepared. Like he did good as like as a judge. Like he was harsh, but like it worked somehow. I don't know. I was really surprised with him on the judges panel. It's time for some challenge prep. Dallas picks her role. However, she said that she thinks she wants that role. And Miranda immediately is like, do you think or are you sure? And this is where the mini challenge curse appears. If you watched Drag Race for long enough, you start to catch like some things that just happens. And for some reason, when you are the mini challenge winner, it can either set you up for like a win or for a bottom two placement. Like for Dallas to pick a character that she thinks she's going to do well in, as the mini challenge winner, I was like, girl, you started doing drag because of Drag Race. How have you not noticed the patterns? I mean, I guess that when you are recording the show itself, you don't like think about those kind of things that much. It's mostly just like when you were watching it. But like, girl, Miranda, again, mother. She mentions that she wants Jezebel, the lawyer, because she has like a lesbian vibe, a lesbianic vibe, and she wants to pay homage to like her lesbian followers, because if you have a lesbian fan base, you're doing something right. Like, she was so right for that. She was so correct for that. This is something that I aspire to. If for some reason these silly little videos just like get into the algorithm and I start having a lot of like subscribers or something, I hope that like the lesbians like me, because I love lesbians. Because I love lesbians so much. And I really hope that they like me back because I love them. And this is an introduction to the dictionary, because she says sapatonas, which is a slang for lesbicas, which is lesbians. The last spotlight for, the picking roles thing is that Shano and Naza wants the same role, and, they're like, oh my god, I want that role, and they're like, no, but I want it. However, like, Naza is that character. She is Beisinha. And like, I think that of the whole cast, Naza was the perfect person for that character. Then Shannon just says fuck it, and she's like, okay, I can play Trovão, which is like the dad character, so that she can prove that she can like, eat and slay on no matter what circumstances, which I was like, girl, if you don't, this is going to like hunt you. Then we have rehearsals. Grag and Bruna look so good. I mean, I already talked about Grag's look, but Bruna, like every so often, every so often you just like have like these moments that like reaffirm things that you already know. Bruna on the rehearsal just like reaffirmed that I am bisexual, because she looked so anyways, they were really good as like, as like coaches, as like directors. Like, they were like giving actual like good like points and criticisms and like things that they can do better. In Drag Race fashion, they just like mostly show like the girls forgetting lines, the girls like missing their cues, just like not having the energy level, which like for a rehearsal I get, not like doing the whole thing, but for Drag Race it's kind of like ooh. And then of course like, not having the presence of the character yet, which is a thing that they play out for Tristan. And Tristan is just like, oh yeah, on confessionals, like, of course, oh yeah, don't worry, I'm going to bring the energy and the presence at the recording, so just stay calm. I got this. I got this. Which, like, I was very much like, we will see about that. Because, like, if they are highlighting that, she either ate or she kind of flopped. So, yeah. After rehearsals, the queens come in the next day. They, gather around the table. They talk about, like, oh, who is ready to get a badge, who is doing who on the runway. And then we go to the tragedy mirror, Despedindo da Desgraça. And that was another episode of just, like, Drag Race Brazil making me just bawl my eyes out. Because, girl, okay, let's get to it. Hubi just talks about, being effeminate, which I immediately was like, I feel you. Like, while trying to date and stuff, and how, like, demotivating that can be, and how, like, drag gave her the confidence that she needed. Tristan talks about the hardships of, like, not fitting the beauty standards, which we know how, gay people are. We know. Like, we definitely know that. And so I was like, yeah, I get that. Because, like, I also have friends who are, like, who are not twinks, or who are not, like, gym rats. And, like, even though they feel like, oh, I am hot, other people on dating apps and shit will just not message them back, will just not even, like, message them, period. And, it's hard. It really is hard. And then we got to, like, the part that really actually got me on this episode, which is just, like, Elena talks about being I'm not gonna cry, being HIV positive, and her just laying it all there was so powerful, because she does mentions that, when she was 17, she just she basically, like, she was holding a lot of things inside of her. And then she just said, fuck it. And she just started, like, hooking up with, like, everyone. And then, she contracted HIV, which is, like, a reality to a lot of people. Because we, as queer people, are not equipped, are not taught so many, like, basic things when it comes to, like, sexual education. Like, and this just, like, prompt, queer youth to, like, make decisions that are, like, at the moment they don't care, but after a while they realize, oh, this was an awful decision. Why did I do that? And, like, when you are young, when you are, like, hot, when you are attractive, like, there's so many people just waiting to just take advantage of you. Like, everyone knows, like, if you are a young gay person, you know that, like, a lot of, like, weird people older than you DM you or start following you, and, like, if you don't know better, if you're not equipped to, like, understand power dynamics and, like, what could happen, like, things can go bad. And, like, that's just rough, because, like, just like, Elena talking about how she felt truly like a bad person, like a bad person, or how she truly felt like she was like just nothing. She was no one. She just put all of that anger into her drag and on the stage. That was so powerful. I think that having those three conversations really like shines a spotlight on things that we need to do better as a community when it comes to, you know, relationships. Because Elena herself, Elena herself, she does say how, like, the moment that she mentions that she's not only a drag queen but also HIV positive, she would just like be blocked by people. Or like, there was this one guy that was like, you should be thankful, you should like thank God that I am with you even though you're HIV positive. And that is so horrible. Like, you know, science evolved so much that now, like, you know, you can live a long life. You have ways to like protect the people that you were like having relationships with. Anyways, that was a really beautiful moment, and just seeing everyone just like embrace her. I cried. I did. I truly did. I am so glad that like instead of going directly from like that very like powerful emotional moment, we did not go straight into like the runway. We had a little moment to just like, you know, have a little fun. She's like, oh, and you know, because being with now, like having no eyebrows is awful, and they just start laughing. And then Chano and Organza referenced the legend icon in the moment, Vanessa Wolfe.
Eu vou estar belíssima, toda montada, vocês não podem perder, hein?
That was really good of the editing department. Good on you. This was great. I'll give you props for that. And after all of that, we're getting into the runway finally, starting with, of course, our host, Grag Queen, who looked. She looks so good. So good. Like, she cleared. Like, the makeup, the mug, like, the, Anyways, category is Brazilian supermodels. And before we start actually talking about the girls, there is some tea. Allegedly, apparently, this was a last minute runway inclusion. If this is true, I can understand why there were a lot of Victoria's Secret like looks, because it was lingerie. So it's easier to reproduce. The focus is really like on the wings. Because like when the season started to be rumored, one of the rumored categories was Night of 1,000 Giselle mentions. And I think that what happened was they couldn't clear the copyright for some like reference pictures. And they just changed the runways from, you know, Night of 1,000 Giselles to just like, to not even Night of 1,000, to just like Brazilian supermodels in general. Because that way it would be easier to clear copyrights. Because Betina was actually going to wear the Polaroid dress, the iconic Polaroid dress, but she couldn't. And my theory is that they couldn't clear the copyright for the actual Giselle picture to show as a reference, because it would be really weird to not have the reference. So I think that because they couldn't clear the copyright, they just said, can you change it? And she did, thankfully. And she was able to, and she nailed. I'm going to talk about this. Betina. But yeah, if this is true, I can see why this runway was not like what we expected it to be. I personally would have loved to see some like OG supermodels though, like Betty Lago, rest in peace, like iconic. she worked with like Mugler, YSL, Gaultier, like she was doing the damn thing. She like truly like she laid the groundwork for like our now legendary supermodels to come in. And I would have loved to see someone do Batchy. Maybe they couldn't clear the copyright for Batchy too. I don't know. Cause like I would have loved to see like a Batchy logo on the runway. I would have done a Batchy look if I was in the season and I was a drag queen. Probably one of the looks that she walked for Mugler, because again, my favorite like couture fashion house. Love them. And our third thing before we actually start talking about the looks, I promise, is money talk. I've noticed that a lot of people have been, I'm just going to say, cunts when it comes to the Brazil, to Drag Race Brazil, like critiques of like the looks. As I said on episode 1, being a drag queen in Brazil is hard. You do not get paid that much, or sometimes at all. So expecting to see looks on Drag Race Brazil that are like on the same level, not even on the same level, but just like they are expecting US and European like runway looks on a franchise from a country that have a completely different reality. You guys do not know shit about how hard being a drag queen in Brazil is. So much so that like Fontana, our legend icon from Drag Race Sweden, had to come out and say, stop. Y'all are being too much. And should I just quote what she says? Is this going to be too long? I don't know. Okay, hear me out. Next person complaining about Drag Race Brazil queens wearing cheap outfits will get a block. Same. You have no idea what it's like to drag in Brazil. The queens are making magic in a country where doing drag is so challenging. Those queens are warriors. That's true. You guys are so used to watching American Drag Race and European franchises where like, of course, it's hard to be a drag queen, period. But it's not even 1% close to being a drag queen in Brazil. They deserve respect and space to create a wider community where drag will survive and exist among all the shit that we go through. I think that Drag Race Brazil is going to be so important to make changes to the drag scene in Brazil as a whole. Hopefully, the local queens will start getting paid better. And hopefully, as the seasons, progress, we can see runway looks just like on the US franchise and the European franchises. But for that, the queens need to be paid. And like, oh, but they received money from production to get the looks. The amount of money that they gave the contestants to prepare looks, allegedly, is not enough for a complete runway package with the amount of looks that they asked them for. It's not enough. I don't remember like what tweet was it, but I'm going to just pop here. Like, you guys are like, oh my god, we like don't want the queens to go into crippling debt to like be on Drag Race. Also, you guys, whenever you see queens doing exactly what you've been saying that they should do, oh, I don't like that, that's cheap. Shut the fuck up. Anyways, now that we had our like intervention, it's time to talk about the queens, their looks, and the challenge performances. Let's go. First up, we have Shannon Scarlett as Laís Ribeiro. I loved the face. I loved the body. But I do wish that the wings weren't flimsy. they were like moving a lot, and I would like a little bit more structure. Also, like, I would like a little bit more on the hair. I do think that a lot of the queens went with, like, you know, the runway model hair. But at the same time, I would like it to be a little bit draggier. Because, you know, it's Drag Race. And a lot of them were just wearing, like, you know, lingerie. In the challenge, I do think that she could have done more. So, I hate to say it, but she was kind of like a low placement contender. Which is funny because, you know, like in the Untucked, she was like, oh, I was supposed to be on the top. Look at this. And I'm like, oh, a tad bit of drag delusion going on there. Speaking of low placement contenders, unfortunately, Aquarela as Adriana Lima, and I don't know if I like this look. Ugh. I don't know if I like the look. I don't know. Like, maybe a different, like, fabric or, like, a lighter tone of gold, because, like, I don't know if it's the lights, but, like, it didn't read well on the stage. So I had a problem with that. Also, like, it bunched up weirdly in some places that, like, I don't think were supposed to be bunched up. I think it was supposed to be, like, you know, like, smooth. So, yeah. I don't mind the bodysuit as much as other people do. But I don't know. When it comes to, like, reinterpretations of looks, you do wish they, like, you keep the essence, but you make it actually different. Or you do, like, exact replica. This weird, like, middle ground can be so hit or miss that I wish she would have done, like, something completely different like Helena. Her walk was better this time. Improvement. And her hair, again. I wish it was a little bit more draggier. But supermodel. In the challenge, as I said, she was my second low placement contender. Because Miranda swallowed her. And even after they were doing their bit and they just, like, became part of the bigger group, she faded into the background. So yeah, I would put her in the bottom 3 instead of Betina, which I'm still like, hello, what the fuck was that? Anyways, moving on. That was The View as Barbara Fialho. Okay, let's start with the positives. I liked the wings. The wings were nice. And I can see that she, like, switched up, like, her makeup to give, like, the supermodel, like, mug. But at the same time, I don't know. Because it's a drag competition, like, everyone just like trying to give, like, realness. They were giving, like, supermodel mug. A lot of them were doing that. I don't know. I liked it, but sometimes I was like, I wish it was a little bit more. But yeah, I enjoyed that she tried to, like, give a supermodel mug, which is not really, like, her look. Now the negatives. Her breastplate was driving me insane because it wasn't matching her skin tone. And because she was not wearing much, because again, Victoria's Secret, like, it was even more visible. It was driving me insane. Also, another thing that was driving me insane, she put the flowers on like, the waist portion of the corset. You put it on the hips. to create more volume on the hips, not on the waist. The corset is there to make it va-va-voom, like not to make it bulkier. Bad decisions. Bad decisions. Also, the corset and the shorts are like don't match each other like the reference pic did. So that's another thing. I think that without even seeing her challenge performance, in the back of my mind, I was like, she's in the bottom. Because I knew they were going to like eat her up on the critiques. And not in a good way. Not in a Valentina way. It was like, I'll eat her up like badly. In the challenge, she wasn't bad. Again, no one did bad. But some people just shined more than others. And unfortunately, she wasn't one of them. She did fade in the background. So, like, her fading in the background plus her runway look was kind of a death sentence. It was hard to see because, again, I created expectations, which I should have learned by now that you don't do, but I could not help myself. Next up is Naza as Adrenalima. Her hairline was so low. And I was like, for what? Why was, like, it was like here. I was like, why is the hairline so low, girl? Hello? The wings were so good. I think it was like my second favorite of the wings. The look was one of my favorites. Like, oh god, like, it wasn't like a perfect recreation, but like, the essence was so there that it sold it. And I am glad that the essence was there because I don't think that her runway walk works with with the runway theme, just because like she's very bubbly. She's very like lively. She's not like fierce puss, just bum 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 bum, you know? So yeah. In the challenge, she was great. She was in my top 4. Definitely. Like, she was just the character. She is betina. Character match was perfect. She was 100% there. Like, she worked so well off organza. She also did really great by herself. Like, a great week for Naza. Really great week. So much so that I don't even have that many notes for her because like she did great. She was clearly on the top 4. Next we have as our third Adrenalima, Elena Maldita, which this was what I was talking about when I said that I like recreations to like have the essence but be different. She made the look her own and she made the look Brazilian, which I am so happy. Elena Maldita keeps making, so far, we only had 2 runways, but she keeps making all of her looks so Brazilian, so like referential to like Bahia, where she's from. It's so great to see. When she said, like, oh yeah, this look is originally made with like European lace, but I am making it with lace from Bahia because let's make it Brazilian, bitch. I was like, yes, I am so happy with her. I'm so happy. So happy. She doesn't fail ever. I mean, is it episode 3? Yes, but I'm gonna say it. She never fails, and even if she does, I don't see it. No, she didn't. You're lying to me. You're lying. You're not watching. You're not watching it correctly. Like, girl. When she said that she was also using fuxicos to represent Brazilian, like, you know, like handicrafts, she's so mother. She's mother. She is mother. Also, the mug. The face card never declines. Never. In the challenge, she was part of my top 4. I think that she did really great. She would to me, she her character was really well was a really good match character wise, and she was very present the whole through and through. It was, I really liked her, really liked her. Next up is Melzini Sparkle serving as Giselle, with her Olympics look. And the look was cute. It's the look, it's a wrap dress. But I think that because Giselle's moment was she walking just fiercely, I think that she missed the walk. If she gave us a fierce walk, it would have sold the look a lot better. I also think that her lip color could have been different. Just give us a little nude mouth. It should be Runway. Again, look at me being also kind of a bit of a hypocrite, being oh, I want drag, but also give us a Runway mug. Because I think that she was toning it down a little bit. So I wish she had went the full way, you know? In the challenge, she was perfectly safe. She didn't fully blend in the background, but she didn't do enough to be a standout. So yeah, she was perfectly safe. Perfectly safe. Next up, Tristan Soledade as Carol Ribeiro. I see, because I said, oh, I want a drag look, I can appreciate that she dragged it up. But it made her look boxy, which I think with a better silhouette, if she had given us the boom boom, the actual Vava Vroom, if her corset was a little bit tighter, I think it would have sold the look a bit better, and she could have maybe been safe from being a bottom 2. In the challenge, she was one of the people that ended up unfortunately fading in the background. Remember when she was in the confessional being no, I'm going to give you the presents in the recording, and I was we'll see about that. She didn't. She the presence was just not there, and I was oh no. When I with the confessional, her look on the runway, and then she not giving the presents on the recording, I was she's in trouble. And in fact, she was. Also, when she touched on, again, the beauty standards and, the bodies and all of that, it unfortunately didn't read well for her. And they always made the looks look perfect on them. They were giving us sometimes a lot more than, the twinks. So to me, I was not buying what she was giving. And then we're going to talk about it, on her elimination speech. She was not feeling seen by the judges, but I think that the way that she went about it was not the best. But also, I'm not going to sit here on YouTube and tell people how they should act, because it's just so many emotions, So I cannot be here and be oh, you should not have done that, because only people that were on Drag Race know the pressure of being on Drag Race. So yeah, the choice of wearing that boot squished her because she was only showing that much leg. So it made her look tiny. The overall look made her look shorter and wider than she actually is. So yeah, like it was not the best like night for Tristan. It truly wasn't. Next, we have our robbed queen, our robbed goddess, Betina Polaroid as Gisele Bündchen. She gave us a almost perfect replica of the Versace dress that Gisele was wearing. Her mug was so beautiful. The hair, again, I wanted a little bit of a drag hair, but like because like she was doing such like a good job on making it look like almost a perfect replica, I didn't mind the hair that much. And like especially since she couldn't wear the Polaroid dress, which would have been like, iconic, her, Bettina Polaroid, wearing the Polaroid dress, it would have been iconic. So to have the first look be rejected and still have being able to pull out an almost exact copy and replica of the Versace dress, this is like the seamstress that worked with her for that did so great. In the challenge, girl, how was she in the bottom? I don't know if the judges see her. I don't know if the judges see Bettina as a competitor. I don't like, because what do you mean? Was she in the bottom because of her panty showing, which we didn't even see? Only the judges were able to see. And then when Grag was like, when are we going to move from like, it was great to we love it? Hello? Like, because in the challenge, she did so good. She was one of the best. She was not like in my top like 4, but she like she and Hubi were like up there, like tied for like 5th place for me. So I don't get it. I truly don't get it. Like, and her runway look was better than Shannon's and was better than Aquarella. So why was she in the bottom and not them? I don't get it. I don't get it. And next we have one queen that I just mentioned, Ruby Ocean, giving us Alessandra Ambrosio on the red carpet for a Vanity Fair event. One of my favorite looks. My only problem was the hair, which she fixed for the pictures, because on her like actual pictures for the look, she made a headpiece that's just like with a bunch of crystals, and Ruby is a fashion queen. She's giving it to us, and I am living for every second. In the challenge, she did great. I think that like she was tied with like Bettina for me, like for 5th place. Like she did so good. The runway look was so good. You know, if with a different hair, which again she fixed. Perfect. I don't know. I truly don't know why some people didn't like it, but again, personal taste. I get it, but like I also don't get it at all. And also, Alessandra Ambrosio herself noticed her on her Instagram. I was shocked when I saw that. I was like, oh, we are doing it. And also, does this mean that Alessandra is watching the dolls? Or did people just like mention it to her a lot and she just noticed it? Because like, if Alessandra is watching the dolls, yes, this is what I live for. This is what I truly live for. Next up, in the runway, we have an unfortunate look for Miranda Lebrun. She's referencing Adriana Lima, on, again, Victoria's Secrets, she had the best wings. If she had figured out a better way to like do the body, she probably would have taken the win. Cause like, but also, can I say something more controversial about Brave? Like, only just recently, we like stopped giving the win to whoever did better in the challenge. Because like, in the past, a lot of queens who would not do good on the runway would still win challenges because they were the best. And to me, that was the case for Miranda. I think that she did the best. You know, like Elena, Organza, Betina, Naza, Ruby, they did great, but Miranda ate them. Ate them to the point where I don't think that like her runway look would be that much to take the win from her. But like Organza did so well, which she's the final one, she's next. But yeah, because of the tea that apparently this was like a last minute runway, I think that she did not have enough time to plan the bodysuit. So it was truly unfortunate because like the wings were the best. Again, wings, as I said. Like, I liked the comedy twist with the tooth. Like, I did not particularly like the wig. That wig was a little bit suspicious. But like, she did so well in the challenge. So well in the challenge. She was like the queen that created like the biggest impact with her performance on the sketch, because people are like not over it still. Like, we have the brilliant meme of Doutora Jezebel vai cuidar disso. Like, great. Just great. Just great. Next, and finally, we have the best look in the runway. Organza as Gisele Bündchen for Victoria's Secret, but the Victoria's Secret done so well. That look was truly orgasmic. Like, the way she made the look out of organza, like how many organza stripes were on her like her wings, girl, she is a Victoria's Secret model with a do-rag. Her brain, massive. Her walk, like, she just flaunted her like ballroom like card. Like, the ballroom card was like like, her walk is the best walk of the season. She just destroyed the runway every single time. And that's why I cannot be mad at her for winning, because her performance in the challenge was great. She did great. Her and Naza had like great chemistry together. She did good by herself. I think that her runway walk being that good with that look gave her the win, so I cannot be too mad about it. Even though, as I said, queens with worse looks but better challenge presentations would win in the past. Just not anymore. Okay, overall, what I thought about the challenge was, it was long. It was really long. But like, it encapsulated a parody of like a thing that would happen on a novella so good that I did not mind it at all. I think it was a good challenge. Everyone did no less than fine. So I was happy for that. Shannon, Aquarela, Naza, Melusine, and Ruby are called safe. They leave the stage, which again, you guys know how I feel about it. Which means that we have tops and bottoms consisted of Dallas, Tristan, Bettina, Elena, Organza, Miranda. And when I realized that Betina was in the bottom 3, I lost it. I paused the episode. I started like walking around my room. Like, not really, because I was like in a Discord VC, so I could not do that without, because I don't want to look that insane to my friends. Like, I don't get it. They clearly don't see it for Betina, and I am scared for what's next on her journey. Like, maybe they're trying to give us a like evolution of like, oh, she was in the bottom 2, then she was low. Maybe this episode with Zoe is going to be safe, and then it's going to be high, and then she wins. But if you guys are doing that, why? Because she did not deserve her bottom 2 placements in both episodes. So yeah, the only judging that I didn't agree with was Betina's. Everyone else, I think it was a fair judging. On the Untucked lounge, we have some like drag delusion. As I said on the beginning of the episode, Shannon thought that she was going to win, or like be high, and I was like, drag delusion, mistress, please come in. Then we also have the discovery that Naza is she sews. I don't know if she sews, but she has a degree in fashion. And Ruby was like, oh, but can you sew? Can you sew though? And I was like, I am so excited to see what this sewing challenge is going to be with Elena, Ruby, Naza, and I think Organza also sews. Like, I am very excited. I'm really excited. The queens come in, nothing really happened there, gonna be honest. Other than like everyone being like, Miranda's winning. Organza herself said, Miranda is winning. They're like, she ate. And which really explains why when they go back to the runway and Organza is announced as the winner, she is like shocked. Which, like, if I was on Organza's position and I just listened to all of the critiques, just being like, Miranda, you destroyed it, I would be like, I won? So yeah, that was a moment. So yeah, Organza wins, second win in a row. She joins the club of like queens that won the first 2 times of a season, and I think that's iconic. So good for you. Elena and Miranda are deemed safe. Betina is saved from lip syncing, which I still am salty about. Like, she was not even supposed to be in the bottom 3. What the fuck is wrong with you guys? And then we have a bottom 2 of Tristan Soledade and Dallas DeVille. They lip sync, or at least Dallas does, to Cachorrinhas by Luísa Sonza. Tristan was not lip syncing. Like, it looked like she did not knew the words, but then on Twitter she was like, did you guys really think that I didn't try learning the words? So maybe she just blacked out, and she had, maybe, I truly think that after the judge's critiques, I think that she just checked out. I think that she was ready to go home or something. Because, girl, the lip sync song is so easy to remember because it's so repetitive that I'm like, then the energy was off. Like, the moment that we had Grag being like, because she wasn't lip syncing, I was like, okay, yeah, Tristan is going home. And Dallas, I mean, she at least did something. I don't think that she has like the best like body awareness. Like, I don't think that she's fully aware of like her body figures and shapes as she's lip syncing, so it looks a little bit clunky sometimes. But she was not going home. She was like, I'm not going home. No, I'm not. And that's what happens, because Tristan goes home, and on her exit, interview, again, it just sounded a little bit bitter. Which, Sucks. I hate to see queens leaving the show like that. I hate to see that she thought that the judges were not seeing her for what she was giving. I think that she is such great representation, and I'm really sad to see her go home so early. And this is a very kind of sad note to end an episode that was so good. The lip sync was not the best lip sync in the world. It's kind of hard when one of the queens did not know the words and was not giving the energy. Next episode is going to be a sewing challenge with a beach theme based on the preview, or a sea theming. I don't know. Again, I am very excited to see what Hubi, what Elena, what Organza, and what Naza pull out in this challenge. Queens that I'm worried for. I don't know. Maybe Dallas, because sometimes being in the bottom can really just give you it can break you. So I'm interested to see what's going to happen on this next episode with her. So yes, this time we did not have a lot of words and terms to explain, but we did have a lot of meme references. So hopefully you guys can understand it now. I hope I was of help. Next episode is a sewing challenge. I am not sure of how many things I can give you an insight on, but maybe on drama or on tea, there's some stuff that's happening. Who knows? We'll see that on the next episode 4 of our little review show. Hope you guys liked it. Give it a like, subscribe to the channel, comment, and I will see you guys on the next one. Bye bye.